Free speech and the right to protest are under threat in Scotland, but not in the ways you might think. Following the passing of the Scottish Government's new hate crime bill, there has been much hand-wringing in the press about the perceived attack on freedom of expression in Scotland. Rowling and Ali McCoy have complained about the possibility of falling foul of the new bill due to their transphobia and sectarian chants. Putting aside the question of why some celebrities are so keen to highlight their participation in bigotry, it's not hard to see why this bill has been latched onto by the right-wing press as they attempt to further stoke the culture wars discourse that has proved so profitable for them. Compared to the outcry over Scotland's new Hate Crime Act, an open letter published recently by Greenpeace received little attention. In it, Greenpeace and over 100,000 members of the public called for Shell to reconsider its $1 million lawsuit against 4 activists who staged a protest on a moving oil rig bound for Shetland back in 2023. This is by no means Shell's only attempt to mobilise their vast resources to silence their opponents. The oil company is leading a second lawsuit that, if approved, would constitute a global ban on all protests on Shell infrastructure at sea, with penalties potentially rising to $8.6 million. As worrying as these developments are, in Scotland, the result is already a foregone conclusion. Protesting aboard Shell oil rigs was already made illegal here in 2019. The power of the fossil fuel industry has allowed them to legislate against the rights of the people whose natural resources they are plundering. This story is not isolated to Scotland. In January, a UN expert warned of a severe crackdown on peaceful protests in the UK. The comments came just 1 month after a peaceful climate protester who took part in a slow march for roughly 30 minutes was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Activists attempting to defend themselves in court while standing trial for their participation in peaceful protests were forbidden from mentioning the words climate change, fuel poverty, or the civil rights movement. It could not be clearer that in Scotland and around the UK, our hard-won right to protest is under serious threat from vested interests. Having lost the argument on climate change, the might of the fossil fuel industry has instead been turned to stifling the voices of those whose lives they are affecting, all the while being aided and abetted by governments beholden to their wealth. Maybe, just maybe, we should be talking a little bit more about this and a little bit less about what Ali McCoy is singing.